Welcome back to This Week in Leadership Research, episode number 23. Each week, I introduce the exciting world of leadership studies and explore the latest development in the field of management, administration, and leadership. The world of artificial intelligence is evolving at a breakneck pace, with major developments happening almost every week. ChatGPT 4 was launched last week. GitHub Copilot was announced this past week, and I'll be able to use it to write Python code. Also, ChatGPT will have Wolfram plugins, which adds superpower to my research. In today's episode, we'll take a closer look at a recently published article on the impact of large language models like ChatGPT on the labor market. The title of the article is GPTs are GPTs, an early look at the labor market impact potential of large language models. The first GPT in the title refers to generative pre-trained transformer. The second GPT in the title refers to general-purpose technologies. The article was written by researchers from OpenAI, Open Research, and the University of Pennsylvania, and was published just 3 days ago on March 23, 2023. The link of the article is in the description below. Since the launch of ChatGPT 3, there has been a lot of buzz about how this powerful technology will shape the job market. I think this is a live or die moment for many companies and organizations. To embrace this powerful wave of artificial intelligence, this is the moment for all organizations, public or private, to revisit their strategic planning. Otherwise, they may not survive in the near future. But it's not just about companies and organizations. As individuals, we need to be thinking about how AI will impact our jobs and careers. Which parts of our job will be replaced by AI, and how can we prepare ourselves to stay competitive and relevant in the rapidly changing job market? The stakes are high. By embracing AI and using it to our advantage, we can unlock new levels of productivity and innovation. And as we'll see in this article on ChatGPT and its impact on the labor market, the seismic changes that AI is bringing about are only just beginning. Let's look at the findings of this article. First, approximately 80% of the U.S. workforce could have at least 10% of their work tasks affected by the introduction of GPTs. This means about 80% of workers in the United States, which is a significant portion of the workforce, could see at least 10% of their work tasks affected by the introduction of GPTs. If your job includes writing and editing text and creating content, that part of your work will be automated. On the positive side, AI will free up time so that you can perform other tasks. On the pessimistic side, your position may be eliminated. The second finding is that around 19% of workers may see at least 50% of their tasks impacted by GPTs. This means that about 1/5 of workers may need to adapt to new ways of working, learn new skills, or even consider changing careers as a result of these changes. The third finding is that the influence of ChatGPT on the labor market spans all wage levels, with high-income jobs potentially facing greater exposure. Here, exposure is defined as a measure of whether access to a GPT or GPT-powered system would reduce the time required for a human to perform a specific work activities and tasks. Here is a summary of exposure rubric. No exposure means ChatGPT or large language models have no impact on the time required to complete the activity or task. What occupations won't be impacted by ChatGPT or large language models? athletes and sports competitors. Many construction jobs, such as brick masons, stonemasons, tile and marble setters, cooks, electricians, waiters, waitresses, bartenders, and helpers, those occupations fall into skilled trades, which means occupations that require a specific set of manual or technical skills and knowledge, usually obtained through vocational training or apprenticeships. Those types of jobs typically involve working with one's hands or specialized equipment and require a certain level of expertise and experience to perform well. Direct exposure means using GPT or large language models can decrease the time required to complete our detailed worker activities and tasks by at least 50%. Large language models plus exposed means that using ChatGPT or large language models would not decrease the time required to complete our work activities and tasks by at least 50%. But additional software could be developed on top of the large language models that could reduce the time it takes to complete our work activities and tasks by at least half. One example of the original system is image generation system that can create new images from text or modify existing ones. Those systems can automatically generate illustrations for my book. The need for illustrators may be dramatically decreased. This table shows the occupations with the highest exposure according to different models. Using the exposure rubric, humans and GPT-4 rated detailed worker activities and tasks and then aggregated their ratings at the task and occupational levels. What occupation will be most at risk? According to the human ratings, occupations with the highest exposure include interpreters and translators, survey researchers, writers and authors, animal scientists, public relations specialists, mathematicians, text preparers, financial quantitative analysts, and web and digital interface designers. Human zeta model suggests some occupations are fully exposed by large language models. In this study, the exposure threshold is set at a 50% reduction in time required to complete a specific work activity or task while maintaining consistent quality. So, fully exposed means that those occupations are impacted by the fullest extent. If you are a mathematician, text preparer, financial quantitative analyst, writer, author, or web or digital interface designer, you may need to learn new skills or take on different roles in your company. Based on the ChatGPT ratings, fully exposed occupations include mathematicians, accountants, auditors, news analysts, reporters, journalists, legal secretaries, administrative assistants, clinical data managers, and climate change policy analysts. This figure shows exposure to large language models by industry based on human ratings. The GPT-4's ratings of the industries impacted by large language models are largely consistent with the ones rated by humans. I highlighted the industries that are related to my field of management, administration, and leadership. The industries include management of companies and enterprises, federal, state, and local government, excluding state and local schools and hospitals, and the U.S. Postal Office. This is interesting. I think the number of employees working in federal, state, and local governments may shrink because part of their jobs can be automated and performed by artificial intelligence. But the rise of AI has the potential to fundamentally change how government decisions are made. If algorithms start making decisions instead of elected officials, then a small group of AI engineers could end up with enormous power to shape people's lives and livelihoods. This is actually an article I'm currently working on. Since I'm a researcher working in a university and a major part of my job is to conduct and publish research, I also highlighted professional scientific and technical services and education services. As AI technology continues to advance at a breakneck pace, it's clear that we'll need to keep up with the latest development to stay competitive in our field. That's why it's essential to start thinking about how we can work with AI rather than against it. After all, AI has unlimited memory, never needs to sleep, and can learn at a lightning fast speeds. It took only 8 days for a poker playing AI to master a poker game and outperform a 4-time World Series poker champion. In this stunning display of technological prowess, an AI system was able to learn, adapt, and ultimately outperform a human expert in a game that requires a high degree of skill, strategy, and intuition. But don't be despair. Just because AI is able to outperform humans in certain tasks doesn't mean that our days are numbered. If we want to thrive in the world of AI, it's time to start thinking about how we can collaborate with these amazing intelligent machines rather than seeing them as our opponents. By developing our own skills, learning how to leverage AI tools and technologies, and staying open to new possibilities, we can position ourselves for success in the rapidly changing world. There are 5 different job zones characterized by the required preparation and education. The first job zone requires little preparation and just a high school diploma. Jobs in this zone include food prep workers, dishwashers, and floor sanders. Job Zone 5 requires the most extensive preparation, with jobs that require a master's degree or doctorate. This zone includes professions like pharmacists, lawyers, and astronomers. This job zone is represented by orange color. This is where all doctors, including MDs, JDs, and other professionals with a professional doctoral degree fall. These high income jobs may potentially face the greatest exposure to AI and large language models. We'll see drastic change in those jobs in the near future. We are on the brink of a major shift in how we live and work, thanks to the introduction of powerful AI technologies like ChatGPT. Well, there is no denying that this new wave of innovation will bring significant job displacement, particularly in industries and occupations mentioned in this week's article. We cannot simply bury our heads in the sand and hope it goes away. Some school districts have already taken the drastic step of banning ChatGPT, but the fact is that AI is here to stay. In K 12 school systems, there is an increasing need for career, technical, and agricultural education, CTAE or CTE, and work based learning programs. These programs will play a crucial role in preparing students for the changing job market and helping them develop the skills they need to succeed in the workforce in the era of AI. We also need to grapple with the ethical and moral issues surrounding this technology and find ways to harness its power for good. The good news is that AI also has the potential to create new job opportunities in areas like data science, AI development, and human machine collaboration. However, these jobs will require new skills and expertise that may require significant investments in education and training. In this new era of AI, critical thinking skills will become more important than ever before. These skills enable us to analyze, evaluate, and interpret information to form reasoned judgments and make informed decisions. So let's embrace this new frontier while also investing in the skills and knowledge needed to thrive in the changing landscape of work. Are you ready to face the AI revolution in your job? The rise of powerful technologies like large language models is poised to shake up the way we work and communicate in ways we never thought possible. What will this mean for your job, and how can you prepare? Feel free to leave your comments below.